Let me hit you with something uncomfortable right off the bat. The worst thing you can be to a woman is not ugly, it's not broke, or even short. The worst thing you can be is boring. Boring is invisible, it's forgettable, it's the death sentence of attraction. So you could have an amazing six pack, a Ferrari, and a perfect jawline. But if you're emotionally flat, if you're predictable, if you give off nice guy, vanilla vibes with no edge, no character, no nothing, then you are dumb before you even start. I'll show you a few ways to never be boring again and how to start sparking deep emotional attraction that makes her crave being around you. But first, let's dive a bit deeper on why being boring is so bad. Here's the truth: attraction is not logical, attraction is very emotional, and especially for women who are all about emotion. So, women do not choose men based on a checklist or logical reasoning. They choose based on how a man makes them feel. And boring makes her feel nothing, absolutely nothing. And this is why being boring makes you invisible, because she can't remember anything about you, anything that you made her feel. And we know, like I just said, that women are all about emotions. So if you give her no highs, no lows, if you are safe, predictable, almost like a routine, well, you are gonna be forgettable. Think about the last time you binge watched a show on Netflix, or maybe you can think about your favorite show on whatever platform. Was it because the characters were nice and agreeable, and the show was predictable and always made rational decisions? Probably not. You kept watching because there were twists. There were highs, lows, conflict, tension, humor, uncertainty, surprise, etc. It made you feel intrigued to see how it was going to end. The same thing applies to attraction. You want to create emotional movement, not just comfort and predictability. And this is where 90% of guys mess up. They're trying so hard to impress her or to not mess up that they forget to be interesting. They forget to be emotionally engaging. They forget that she's not interviewing you, she's looking for a spark. Now let's break this down. What actually makes a guy boring? Well, let me give you some examples so you can understand. For example, you agree with everything she says, even if you don't really agree with everything that she says. You never challenge her, you always play it safe, you never express a strong opinion, and you hide your real personality behind a mask of being polite or respectful. Now, be careful. I'm not saying to be rude or confrontational. I'm saying be real, be bold, be expressive. Stop walking on eggshells around women like they are going to shatter if you're not a perfect gentleman 24/7. Especially stop being afraid of their opinions, because many times their opinions are not actually what they think or feel. Because while you are trying to be perfect, she's trying not to fall asleep. So stop thinking so much about her opinion of you, of what you said, of everything, because it's not that important and it's not gonna change your life or make you depressed or anything. Okay, it's just a woman, it's just an opinion. Now, here's what women actually respond to: a roller coaster of emotions. That doesn't mean that you become manipulative or toxic, but maybe a little bit, to be honest, because that is what works, unfortunately. Emotional stimulation is a key to lasting attraction. And here's the kicker: it has nothing to do with looks. A guy who can make her feel a range of emotions will always beat the hot guy every time. So let's get tactical, okay? I'm gonna give you now some things that you can start implementing to become less boring. First of all, we have very common advice, but for a reason, because it works. And it is to tease her playfully. Do not be afraid to gently push her buttons. Teasing creates tension, and tension it's the birthplace of attraction. So you don't want to insult her, you want to challenge her. Make it fun, make it flirty. Think older brother vibes, okay? Not the bully in school. The older brother who makes fun of you a little bit, who always teases you because he's just having fun. So that's the approach that you want to think about, not the bully in school who basically wants the worst for you and just wants to piss you off and ridiculize you in front of everyone. Okay? Now, the next thing is to share bold opinions, but opinions that you actually have. Not Do not create bold opinions just for the sake of it. Okay? The thing here is to have a backbone. If she says something that you don't agree with, say it. Okay? If, for example, she says that she hates pineapple on pizza, but you actually love it, say it. Say it. Okay? Do not shy away from these situations or these opinions. Strong opinions show strength of character. Okay? So apply this in more ways. This is just a great example so you can understand where I'm going. Now, the next point is to be unpredictable. If she says something outrageous or something funny or whatever, do not give the standard logical reply. Flip it on her. If she asks, for example, if she's already flirting with you and she asks, do you always talk to girls like this? Instead of shying away and being timid and, thinking, oh, I do not want her to think that I talk to more girls this way or apply any tactics. Instead of saying, for example, no, no, I don't talk to any girls like this, you can say, yes, only to the ones who can keep up. Or, yes, only to the pretty ones. So you're a lucky girl. Something like this become unpredictable, bold. Now, the next thing is to mix emotions. You can, for example, tell a funny story, then a story that shows vulnerability. You can joke around and then ask a deep, unexpected question. Contrast, it's what keeps her glued to you, okay? And then you have to show your edge, your character. Like I said, you are not just a nice guy. You've got standards that don't change no matter who you're up against, okay? So don't let anyone bend you over like a little bitch. Now I'm gonna give you two little extras here. The first one is a little tactic that you can use, and it is to give her attention and then take it away. Talk to her for 20 minutes. You're very invested in her, you're having fun, and then you go away. You talk to other people for 45 minutes. You can text her normally and sometimes, quick and very engaging, and then you take hours to respond. she will beg for your attention. The next thing is something in my experience that helped me most. And it is, like I said, to be bold, to say what I want with a confident approach. When I started doing this, more of these things, and I stopped caring about what she thinks of me, and instead I just start having fun, being bold. This is when everything changed for me, and suddenly it was so easy to attract women. So do not be afraid. You should be afraid of being boring. Okay, so try saying different things, try being different, you know, try expressing yourself more. Now, listen, attraction, like I said, isn't about being the best guy on paper. It's not about ticking boxes, it's about emotional engagement. You don't have to be rich, famous, or jacked, but you do have to spark something in her. Because when a woman says, I don't know what it's about him, but I cannot stop thinking about him, that's not logic. That's not about checklist. That's because he made her feel something. So stop being boring, start being emotionally alive. Create the story she wants to be a part of. And remember, a spark is small, but it can start a fire.